and I will stop sharing at 10.
Good morning. I'm Dwight Keenan, Chair of the Kansas Corporation Commission. I'm joined this morning by fellow Commissioner Susan Duffy and Commissioner Andrew French. At this time, I will call to order this meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission on this Thursday, November 3rd, 2022. First items up for our consideration this morning are 18 items on the consent agenda. We've had the opportunity to review the contents of the draft orders in each of these matters, so I would turn to each of my colleagues and ask if they have any questions, comments, or concerns, and I'll begin with Commissioner Duffy.
Good morning, everyone. I have no questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner French.
No questions. I move approval of the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
Been moved and second, we approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing now, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. The consent agenda is approved. We have one noticed item for our consideration this morning. It involves docket number 23-TRAN-384-PEN. This is in the matter of the investigation of Suter Excavating, Inc. of Wichita, Kansas, regarding the violations of the motor carrier safety statutes, rules, and regulations, and the Commission's authority to impose penalties, sanctions, and/or the revocation of motor carrier authority. Before us this morning is a penalty order, and our presenter is litigation counsel Hassan Latif. Good morning, Hassan.
Good morning, commissioners. The penalty order before you arises out of a compliance review of Suter Excavating, Inc., a private motor carrier which hauls machinery, large objects, and construction operating out of Wichita, Kansas. This investigation was conducted on September 1st by special investigators Doug Handy and Matthew Rose. And during their investigation, the special investigators found several violations, and before you, the penalty order assesses penalties for for 7 of the violations, resulting in $4,750 in total penalties. The violations included a $500 fine for failure to require its drivers to be medically certified and examined prior to operation, a $500 fine for failure to obtain commercial registration for its commercial motor vehicle, a $1,000 fine for failure to require its driver to submit a pre-employment alcohol and controlled substance test prior to permitting the driver to operate a commercial motor vehicle, a $1,000 fine for failure to ensure each driver selected for a random alcohol and controlled substance test had an equal chance of selection. Not all the drivers were in the program, and that's what caused the issue there. And a $1,000 fine for failing to conduct a pre-employment inquiry into the Federal Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse on a driver. The remaining violations include additional penalties for failures with the alcohol and controlled substance testing program and a failure to obtain annual driving records for its drivers. Staff believes the order appropriately assesses penalties against the carrier and recommends approval of the order. Both myself and staff are available to stand for questions.
Very well. Thank you, Hassan, for that overview. Let's see if there are any questions. I'll turn first to Commissioner Duffy.
Yes, thank you. I do have 2 questions. First of all, Hassan, can you describe, in order to be medically approved, or Gary, you can as well, is that a difficult process to get your medical examination and approval authorizing you for a CDL CDL license?
I'll turn to Gary.
Yeah, the medical card, it's a standard medical. It hasn't really changed anything. It's just a fact that people are out there. Generally, it's a 2-year cycle. If they have some conditions, it's on a 1-year cycle, but it's relatively easy. There's a lot of doctors that are certified to do that. And so that is would be very easy to attain. It's just the carriers just don't follow through with what they're required to do.
Okay, and secondly, Gary, to look up the driver records of your employees, is that difficult or onerous as well?
No, the records that we look at, and the carrier themselves are supposed to get an annual motor vehicle record to make sure that those drivers haven't accumulated anything that would be a cause for concern for potential crashes in the future.
Okay,
And those are easily, we have a link on our website that they can go and get them electronically off of KDOR's website. And, you know, it's not something difficult. It's just another item that they don't do.
another item to ensure as much as we can the safety of the public by ensuring that driver has a good record, has been medically evaluated to drive the motor vehicles that we're talking about, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, all of the regulations are designed to protect the motoring public as well as the motor carrier themselves and the drivers. We want to have medically approved drivers, and that's the whole reason for the rules.
Okay, thank you very much.
Commissioner French.
No questions. I move approval of the order.
I second the motion.
Moving to second, we approve the order in this matter. Is any discussion? I would add this comment, and I know I'm speaking on behalf of my two fellow commissioners as well. I want to commend again our field investigators, both Doug and Maxine, for their work. Their work reflects an obvious level of diligence, attention to detail, and professionalism, and we're grateful for their work. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I would call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. The order is approved. Thank you very much, Hassan.
Thank you.
Gary, thank you too. Commissioners, I believe that concludes the agenda notice items that we had for consideration this morning. Unless there's any further matters that you would care to take up at this time, I would entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you very much and take care.
Take care.